what is happening.
Broadcasting live from the Zimmer Communications World Headquarters.
Great news for the American people.
This is Wake Up Mid-Missouri with Branden Rathert, featuring Stephanie Bell, News Director Brian Houseworth, John Marsh, and Hannah, the producer.
This is why we listen to you.
Get ready, pal. And now,
as we look at new polling numbers from CNN this morning on a Feel Good Friday, and that's the only reason, Hannah, we're doing these numbers, because they're good, and it's a Feel Good Friday.
I guess I'll allow it.
All right, thank you. Welcome to the show, Wake Up Mid-Missouri. Some of the things that we are covering for you today. Gas prices in Missouri, you may have seen this. I saw $3.83 a gallon yesterday. What did you see, Hannah?
Yeah, $3.79.
$3.79 a gallon. They are going up. State Rep Cherie Tolson-Rice hanging out with us on the show this morning. As a matter of fact, ways that we can save money.
Absolutely.
Sharing with us. Saw a presentation recently with Miss Tolson-Rice on ways to save money, and I'm like, oh, this is old lady stuff. That was my reaction.
Thank you, Brandon. I resemble that remark.
I didn't.
6:10 in the morning, and you've already offended our guest co-host.
And one of our
what
local,
else is new?
Yeah, and one of our local state reps.
Man.
But no, the point I'm trying to make.
Let me go get the shovel out of your desk. You can dig a little easier.
Here's the point I'm trying. I was at a recent pachyderm event a couple of weeks ago, and Cherie Tolson-Rice was talking about various things, and then went into this side thing about ways to save money, gas tax receipts, and other. So at first she said, here's ways you can save money. And I was kind of like, oh, God, this is old lady couponing stuff, right?
Well, Brandon, that's because you have so much more money than the rest of us.
Poor people have poor ways, but we need to help out our fellow citizens.
As I rolled up to work this morning in my car that's almost as old as producer Hannah. But then you started talking about some of these things, and I'm like, man, as a hip 52-year-old dude.
Oh, boo.
I'm like, I can do some of these things. So we're going to be talking about that at 7:10. Gas prices skyrocketing in Missouri, almost at record numbers that we haven't seen since June of 2022, which was a year and a half into Joe Biden's presidency. Trump potentially interviewing vice presidential candidates, and there's some names on this list that were like, oh, it's not somebody that's currently in the race, so that's going to be interesting. Brian Houseworth, John Marsh is here. Let's start, before we get into these poll numbers, these are CNN polling numbers. CNN last night, I don't know if anybody watched this stuff. People say, why do you watch CNN? Why do you watch MSNBC? Because you got to know what they're doing. That's why I watch them. And it's really funny sometimes. A lot of stuff. I don't need to watch reruns of The Office. I can watch MSNBC going, I don't understand why people don't think the economy is good. And I laugh my ass off because what the heck are you talking about? It's great comedy. It really is. Let's start with Kamala Harris. She's being asked about, doing the interview circuit yesterday, and she's being asked, are you ready to be president? And she tried to bust her presidential chops to show why she would be a good president when it comes to things on a worldwide stage.
I feel very strongly about the importance as a general matter of engaging in U.S. policy as it relates to foreign affairs in a way that we pay attention, of course, to the immediate concerns and threats if they exist, but that we also pay attention to 10, 20, 30 years down the line and what we are developing now that will be to the benefit of our country then.
So, John, I'm going to give you the impossible task at 6:12 now on a Friday morning. Can you interpret and distill down what Kamala Harris, who wants to be president, what she just said?
Something about Commander-in-Chief 20 years down the road, I think.
Yeah.
God. And this is why you should be watching the show. Go to our YouTube channel, Wake Up Mid-Missouri. First thing you'll notice, we're all wearing red today.
Yay.
We were red on Fridays to remember everyone deployed, and I'm glad to see that Branden remembered to tell our guest co-host.
Oh, he didn't have to tell me. Listen. I know this stuff. I know where it came from.
So what you're saying is he forgot to tell you.
Well, he didn't have to tell me, but yes, he forgot to tell me. But yes, I wore red because I know better.
I know sometimes if we have guest co-hosts on Fridays, he often forgets to tell them, and they show up and they feel left out.
Yeah. But in my wardrobe and back, I've got red T-shirts, so I'll take off my clothes and give them to the guests. And anyhow, the other reason you should be watching the show on our YouTube channel, seriously, if you've never done it, maybe today's the day you pop it up on the smart TV for a few minutes in the house. You would have seen Brian Houseworth's reaction to Kamala Harris saying whatever she said there. From our nonpartisan news guy, Brian Houseworth, you would have seen him giving you that puppy dog look like.
I was trying to figure out the clearly. I'll tell you what I think she was trying to do. But yes, I encourage people to look at the YouTube as well. She didn't like the question. I think that's pretty obvious because it kind of puts her in a box because they're speculating, obviously, about President Biden. But I'm not sure what she was getting at about the thing about the 20 to 30 to 40 years down the line. Yeah. And then it didn't seem to flow very well.
This is why they call it the word salad. Her lips are moving, but she's not saying anything.
And she was one, if you guys remember the debates before the first votes were cast in the Democratic primary, she hammered Joe Biden during that first debate. I mean, hammered him basically calling him a conservative. That's what she was saying.
So let's try again, John. I will read what Kamala just said, and then maybe you can try to interpret what the Vice President of the United States is trying to tell us in making her case for why she would be a good president. Quoting Kamala Harris, "I feel very strongly about the importance of the general matter of engaging in U.S. policy as it relates to foreign affairs in a way that we pay attention, of course, to the... This is making my head spin even trying to read this, Cherie.
I get it.
But that we also pay attention to 10, 20, 30 years down the line and what we are developing now that will be to the benefit of our country then." You want to take another stab, Marsh?
20 to 30 to 40 years down the road.
874-9390. What's your reaction to this? We are in the 573 area code. Would love to get a text from you. 573-874-9390. All right, polling numbers from CNN. We always preface it.
Woohoo.
Mm-hmm.
How come all your news is coming from CNN? I don't get that.
So, key thing here is because we're starting to see CNN at the very least. They're starting to get on board with this Hunter Biden stuff.
Yeah,
a lot
finally.
of us smart people have been on for a couple of years now, and it wasn't about the hookers and the cocaine and snorting coke off of the stomach of hookers and all that. It wasn't about, nobody cared about the pictures on the laptop. Is what smart Americans cared about was, so wait, you were leveraging your dad, who is vice president, an elected vice president in the freest country on planet Earth. You were leveraging your name, and the big guy, Joe Biden, knew this. That's the problem. So CNN is starting to pick up on that. They did some polling, and I'll tell you, bottom line, Trump beats Biden. This is CNN polling just released yesterday. Last night, CNN, man, crying in their beers for hours on the TV last night. CNN polling, Trump beats Biden. DeSantis ties Biden. Nikki Haley beats Joe Biden by a bigger margin than anybody else.
Wow, that's surprising, but cool.
Mike Pence beats Joe Biden.
No.
by 2 points, more than Trump. Again, that's why we say for what polling's worth.
Did Mike Pence publish this poll?
And Hannah just got to hang out with Mr. Pence a little bit up in Iowa.
Yeah, he was at the Midwest Old Threshers reunion where I was.
I've been to that before. That is really cool in Mount Pleasant, Iowa.
Yeah, we go every year.
Yeah, I love it.
Tim Scott beats Joe Biden by a margin greater than Trump. Chris Christie beats Joe Biden by a margin greater than Trump. So the big takeaway here is, for what polling's worth, but they're showing just about everybody would beat Joe Biden, polling from CNN. Now, the other thing, we've started to see a change in these polls, John, over the past couple of weeks that we present these here on the show. Are you getting that sense that we're starting to see there is some growth for anybody against Biden? There is some growth, especially for Trump. Are you feeling that too?
No, to a point, but you cycle back to the thing of you can find a poll to say about anything, whether it's CNN or somebody else.
Yeah. But the consistency is what I'm looking at. Every single Republican candidate, with the exception of DeSantis, beats Joe Biden. And then Nikki Haley beating him by 6 points, more than any other GOP contender, I think is interesting. Famed Democrat strategist James Carville on poll numbers regarding Joe Biden. Sorry, that's not James Carville.
And he's been around since Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. That's a 4-year-old girl singing metal that we were going to play later on a Feel Good Friday. James Carville, staunch Democrat on the Biden poll numbers.
The polls are not were not great, and it tells us that voters are expressing some apprehension here. It's pretty clear. I mean, there's not much else you can say when you look at them.
Not much else you can say.
No. Well, there is a hurricane. So I don't know if we can fully believe it.
One of the greatest moments in the past year plus that we've been broadcast throughout all of mid-Missouri now. Great exchange between John Marsh and Dick Morris, famed politician. And he was on, John. He was bragging about how good he was at picking presidential winners. Save for, what was it, 2012?
Except, when we asked him about, what happened to your prediction involving Mitt Romney that year?
There's a hurricane, gee, and
Hurricane's fault.
And Dick Morris, who sounds like the old Joker from the 60s television series, The Batman, you see. Well, there was a hurricane, and it just completely blew everything off course. So, pretty big story. One of the other big things we were covering this morning, gas prices. We'll get into that, $6.35. If you're going to be traveling on I-70 this weekend.
Yeah, the bridge is coming down.
Probably collapsing quicker than the Kansas City Chiefs offense last night.
Too soon. Too soon.
That
hurts.
They should really sell tickets to this bridge blow-up thing.
Well, there's a winery.
Les Bourgeois at Rocheport.
I think somebody like that. They got a place up along the river. They're going to be doing.
But they are encouraging people to stay away. You don't, as much as we all want to see it come down, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, let's not go making it a tailgate this weekend. Yeah. Let's tailgate tomorrow at the Zoo football game.
Yeah, I wanted to bring my lawn chair and just kind of find a spot to watch it go down.
It's a night game, and so people will be sleeping in Columbia, and they're going to be going up down I-70 in the Sunday morning, and they won't be able to get through.
It'll be fun. Coming up daily, D.C. rundown, who Trump might
come. Will we be the party of conservatism, or will we follow the siren song of populism unmoored to conservative principles? The future of this movement and this party belongs to one or the other, not both.
Mike Pence getting us into today's daily DC rundown. I don't think he's using the term populism in its proper form. He's trying to refer to Donald Trump specifically. Like, yeah, he's the popular guy in the Republican Party. We do populism or conservatism. I don't think he's using populism in its right sense. It's a failed dig at Donald Trump. That's getting us into today's daily DC rundown. So Trump, as his rivals, are holding town halls, as Mike Pence did there, and meet and greets in these early voting states. Trump heading to South Dakota today for a fundraiser that will double as an opportunity for the state's governor, Kristi Noem, to showcase herself as a potential vice presidential pick. I'm only asking this because it's a feel-good Friday. Is it wrong for me as a dude to say, by the way, Kristi Noem is hot, one of the hottest politicians in America? Is it wrong?
Man.
No, she is hot. I tell you, I met her at CPAC. She's beautiful.
Let me ask John, though, because I don't need the opinion. John, is it okay to talk about the looks of a politician?
Well, you're going to anyway.
And she's smart and beautiful. She's a great governor.
She looks good on a Harley. You ever seen the pictures of her on a Harley?
And a horse.
And, yeah, she'd be a great vice president, I'm sure. Trump is going to join the South.
All right.
So, I'm sorry. He's going to join
you're
this.
not.
I apologize. Working on it. Trying not to behave that way anymore. Well, here's the thing, seriously, about this. What do we do? We look with dudes, too. It happens with dudes. It's not about judging a woman on her looks. For example, Chris Christie. Everybody judges, well, he's a portly fellow. Well, they judge dudes' looks, too.
Yes.
So why can't... I'm all about the Equal Rights Amendment. Us dudes, equal rights. Anyhow, so where was I? Oh, yeah, Trump. South Dakota. Noem is going to appear alongside the former president and is expected to endorse him, creating an image of the pair that Noem's allies hope looks like a presidential ticket. This, according to two senior Republicans familiar with her thinking. Trump's decision to headline the event underscores his dominance of the Republican race, even as he faces 4 separate indictments. And now he's got these new CNN polling numbers, which continue to show that Trump is climbing in the polls. That's the biggest thing with his CNN polling this morning. This is following a pattern, and the other big thing about this poll this morning from CNN is that every Republican candidate beats Joe Biden, save for the one guy, Ron DeSantis, who only ties him. All right, other news this morning, Florida Governor DeSantis and GOP presidential candidate Ron criticizing recent efforts across the U.S. to tamp down a recent jump in COVID cases through temporary restrictions on masking. The criticism from DeSantis at a news conference in Jacksonville arrived the same day that his campaign for the 2024 GOP presidential nomination sent out an email to supporters vowing to fight back against every bogus attempt the left makes to expand government control. Local state rep David Tyson Smith was on the show last week. I don't know if you heard.
Yes, I did.
And we'd said, listen, we want to get into the mindset of a Democrat, non-confrontational. We're not debating. We're not arguing. Because we wanted to find out things like this. Why do Democrats insist on telling me how to live my life? He didn't answer any of the questions. I think the greatest comment we got was from a listener who, and I respect David Tyson Smith personally.
I work with him. Yeah.
But I think one of our listeners said it best.
I love mowing grass.
It's free,
That's my hobby.
which is nice. I don't care for the tone it is mowed in. She wanted to mow it. And I was like, look, that's fine. But I want you to go tell every neighbor that you choose to do this. I don't want to always be getting stopped like, you the guy that makes his wife mow the yard? I'm like, yeah, I got my mom on the roof right now.
I love that.
Nate Bargatze, you want to check out his stuff this weekend on Netflix. He's always good.
I've actually seen several women on TikTok, especially mothers, who have been opting to mow their yards because they get time away from their kids. You know, you can put your headphones on, you can listen to a podcast, preferably the Wake Up in Missouri podcast.
Hannah, that is me all over. I do the equivalent of 7 yards a week because no texts, no calls, no emails. I can veg out on my John Deere lawnmower.
Right. And just especially for, moms who have little kids, stick them with the dad and they get a couple hours of uninterrupted me time.
John, who does the yard at your house?
Me.
Amen, brother.
My fiance does ours.
Yeah.
Well, maybe now you could make your wife do it after you heard this. No.
Idea.
Hey, honey, we heard that it's a good sense of stress relief. You get time away from the kids. Here's the keys to the ride more. Why don't you get out there and go do the back 40? We'll be back. Meet here at lunchtime, 2 o'clock. Feel Good Friday edition of Wake Up Mid-Missouri. You're hearing the voice of one of our local state reps, Cherie Tolson-Rice. Good morning, Cherie.
Good morning, Brandon.
There's producer Hannah.
Hola.
How many days away from the big wedding?
Very few.
Very few. There's Mr. John Marsh.
Yes, sir.
Houseworth is here. My name is Branden Rathert. If there's something we can do for you, 573-874-9390. One thing that we cannot do for you this morning is lower gas prices. You may have gotten sticker shock last night. Again, it was like getting kicked in the groin to see some of these prices at the gas station. I filled up, I think, Sunday, and it was, I don't know, whatever it was.
And you won't have to fill up for another month, right?
Yeah. I fill up about every other day as much as I drive.
We're going to get into that and the reasons why we are paying more gas. In 710, Cherie Tolson-Rice, she was doing a political presentation a couple of weeks ago. I was at a local pachyderm event, and then she did like the sidebar on ways to save money and kind of extreme couponing. I was like, oh.
Hey, that's me. I'm all about saving money.
Even in the legislature. By the way, thanks for the tax breaks this past year.
You're welcome.
That.
We keep cutting taxes.
Yep. And I mention that because we have a Republican-controlled legislature dominated by Republicans, and we look at these Democrats. What do they want to do? They want to raise taxes, raise this, raise that. And this is so I encourage this when you tell this when you have these conversations with your progressive friends or coworkers, you can point out politely facts. Republicans have put more money in the state legislature. They have put more money back into your bank account so you can go and pay $3.89 for gasoline.
We believe people know how to spend their money better than government does. Yeah. Government is wasteful and inefficient, and we're trying to make it better, but it's.
So please share these stories, point out facts. We cut the income tax a little bit. We've done this. This is what Republicans do. If you want more money, look at the CNN new CNN polling regarding Biden, which says every Republican candidate would beat him except for Ron DeSantis. The one with the biggest margin of victory in the polling numbers from CNN, for what polling is worth, is Nikki Haley. She beats Biden by 6 points. Trump beats him by 1.
Yeah, as I was driving home last night, of course, I have a long commute. I saw at the Deer Park gas station $3.79.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, no. But it's just one gas station, Sometimes, for whatever reason, one gas station has higher prices than others. But then I went through Ashland, and it was the same price. My heart fell a little further. And then I got to Jefferson City, and the gas station on Missouri Boulevard that I drive by had the same price. And I shed a tear or two.
And that's why that matters. You said it, Hannah. Your heart skipped a beat. Your heart skipped a beat. And that's real stuff. That's not complaining about what Biden has done. It's not complaining about Democrats or progressives. It kind of is. But it's how it affects you. And I had that same reaction. Now, my heart didn't skip a beat. I felt like somebody had kicked me in the baby maker really, really hard. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Because I know, okay, so now gas is all of a sudden shot up about 50 cents higher. So I'm going to be paying $6 more per gallon.
But I'm going to give you some money-saving tips in the next hour on how to help you save that gas money.
Well, and it's especially a bummer because prices were very slowly, but they were trending downward. And then that happens.
And that's the real thing, is how these things affect you. It's not, oh, gas is up. Especially everything else is going up. These things, man, they hurt and they matter. Because the other thing that happens when gas prices rise, John, we know this, well, then the people who's delivering my food to the grocery store, who's delivering my clothes to the place, who's delivering this and that, they're buying the same gas we buy. So what do, John?
Same deal.
They raise
Jack it up, pass it along to the
And
consumer.
food prices have gone so high. I hate going to the grocery store and looking at how much food is now.
So
try planning a wedding where you have to feed a bunch of people.
Oh, man. You should make it a BYOF wedding. Bring your own food.
Just serve cake and punch.
There you go.
They can go home and eat a meal.
Treat it like you're getting married on Southwest Airlines. Give everybody a little bag of peanuts and a little liquor bottle. From our friends at High Noon. By the way, High Noon joining us tomorrow. Tiger Tailgate Party starts 4 o'clock in anticipation of a 6 o'clock kickoff. Mizzou, Middle Tennessee State, free Buffalo Wild Wings, still giving away Bud Light. On High Noon helping us out. So here's what you can do today. You can go to places like in Columbia. You can go to Big O Tires, either location in Jefferson City, also Big O Tires. And if you're cruising through Lynn this morning by State Tech, you can stop there at that Casper 66 and you can get free. All you do is you walk in and say, hey, can I get some passes? Producer Hannah, John Marsh, they were talking about it on Wake Up Mid. They'll give you 4 of them, man. And by the way, the fried chicken at Casper 66. Really good stuff.
And Brandon, you'll be at the tailgate, right?
Be at the. I'll be the one in the Mizzou boonie hat. Like I have a boonie hat, and I get to wear it twice.
I have a boonie hat.
I love my boonie hat. I have another like an army green boonie hat. I wear every time I go on vacation, and the kids hate it. Every time I go to Idaho, I'll wear that boonie hat for a week. Like I don't take that thing off. I leave it on. I sleep in that thing. And so when I do these Tiger tailgates, I have a Mizzou boonie hat, and I wear my Johnny. What was the movie with Johnny? Is it not Leaving Las Vegas? But there was a movie Johnny Depp was wearing the boonie hat and the big old sunglasses. That'll be me tomorrow. And then John and I, we're going to be hanging out in Jeff City tonight. What are we doing?
Going to the Chamber of Commerce Gala this evening.
Ooh, nice.
How about that?
Fancy.
Distinguished gentleman.
Woohoo.
Yeah. I'll be in flip-flops.
Well, at least you won't be barefoot.
Do you think I can wear flip-flops to this event? I'll wear a jacket and nice jeans.
With
Brandon,
flip-flops, absolutely not.
You
No.
can do
outdoors.
it. Yes, it's you. Just be
And it's
yourself.
outdoors, yeah.
And see, I like the advice from our state rep. It's great when I have 3 people in the studio because I can pick whose advice I like the best.
Wear your flip-flops. You got to be comfortable.
Flip-flops and a suit jacket do
Yeah.
not go together.
But
Sheree,
it's
don't
Brandon.
encourage him.
He has got to be himself.
And
Don't be a pretender.
I appreciate that because you know what? It's none of my business what other people think about me. I say that, but you know what I worry about sometimes, Hannah?
You worry a lot about what people
other
think
people
about
think
you.
about me.
Well, don't. That'll just mess your head up.
Do we want to know why? And here's the thing. Nobody cares. I love it when CNN and MSNBC, well, here's why gas prices are high. Refineries, summer blends, and because Russia and all this. So let's look at some of those and see how this ties back to politics. Record. So we are close, just like that. Like Hannah does, it feels like this literally happened overnight.
Yeah, I mean, coming into work yesterday, it was around 350 something, and going home from work last night, it was jacked up.
Ben, Rebecca on the text, thank you. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
There
is
you
the
go.
movie.
Oh.
Yeah, got that text.
Okay.
Johnny Depp and the big old glasses and the boonie hat. That'll be me tomorrow at the Tiger Tailgate. And
That's right. Brandon will be doing his best Hunter S. Thompson impersonation. Right?
You know, I should do the Hunter S. Thompson impersonation at this Jefferson City Gala chamber event tonight. Maybe I'll do that.
Good. We'll find you a cigarette and a cigarette holder and hook you up.
Mizzou boonie hat, jacket, nice jeans, big old sunglasses, and flip-flops. That's me. Gas prices, record high occurred in June 2022. Now, that was exactly a year and a half into Joe Biden's presidency. Record high gas prices in Missouri on average, according to AAA, $4.68 a gallon. And according to Gas Buddy, we're getting close there again. So here comes the explanations from CNN and MSNBC.
And I'm reading this. You gave me same notes.
And here's what it is. So the forecast from Gas Buddy says, and your gas price is probably going to go, and this is going to hit you this morning if you got to fill up with gasoline. This comes as oil futures surge this week on the expectation that Russia, one of the world's 3 biggest oil-producing countries, will extend current production cuts into October. So we talk about Russia. Now, remember, Russia invaded Ukraine. That caused gas prices to go up. Why did Russia invade Ukraine? We've played this audio a million times. NATO saying, here's why Russia invaded Ukraine. They did it because they saw Joe Biden's weakness on the worldwide stage following that sloppy pullout in Afghanistan. So folks going to be paying $3.83, $3.89 a gallon for gasoline. Gas Buddy predicts even higher in the coming weeks. It's because of Joe Biden. That's a fact.
Absolutely.
And
we were energy independent. We were an exporter. We have drill, baby, drill. We've got more oil, natural gas right here in the United States.
So that's what's happening. That's why these things matter. So they skip the part, well, it's because Russia's cutting production. Well, they're doing it to
BS.
Yep. Amen. Coming up in just a few minutes from now here on the show, you know, I love dogs. They do remarkable things, and sometimes they're just really cool. One dog goes to a rock concert and just hangs out, sits
124 and suffering its fourth straight session of declines. S&P 500 down 14.
We'll look at your futures coming up 8:25 in the Morning Bell Business News with a little twist. One of the things we are going to be looking at this morning, who says money can't buy happiness? I've noticed my experience over the years. It's only people that have money that say that. I've never heard, regular folk like me saying, money doesn't buy happiness. There is probably some truth in there, but we'll look at how much it costs to buy happiness. There's John, you familiar with comedian Daniel Tosh? Had the show Tosh.0 on Comedy Central.
I watched that.
Funny guy.
Wait, State Representative Cherie Tolson-Reich is hanging out with us. You watched Tosh.0 on Comedy Central?
Back in the day, long time ago. I actually caught a few of his shows.
Do you watch South Park too, like I do? So,
Kitty.
Daniel Tosh. Oh my God, they killed Kitty. Daniel Tosh did a show with some other comedians at Mizzou. I don't know, it's been 5 or 6 years ago. But anyhow, one of the things, one of the segments he did was he was talking about who says money can't buy happiness. He says, you know what money can buy? It can buy a jet ski. Have you ever seen anybody on a jet ski frowning? It's impossible. So that's Daniel Tosh's take on it. We'll look at that at 8:25, and some money saving tips from Cherie Tolson-Reich. Actually, kind of interesting. I'm going to look at some text at 874-9390. We were talking about how Biden is responsible for your gas prices. Text: U.S. oil production is at an all-time high. I know you guys don't like talking about this. And then there's the point that we're making to this listener. Alan is his name. Yeah. Okay, so oil production is at an all-time high. And the gas prices are still almost at record highs. So, yeah, okay, we appreciate that. Roger, we were talking about Republicans in the tax cuts that they've did. Even this year, they've cut income. There's several taxes, so they put more money back in your pockets. Roger says, well, which party is responsible for that newer gas tax that went into effect a year ago?
It was Republicans, and that is, I voted no, and I'm still pissed off about that.
Well, and here's the thing. You can get your money back. And
a refund.
When people complain about, well, taxes... Get your money back. Quit complaining. Don't come and complain to me about it. Get your money back. And I know it's going to take you an hour and you got to save your receipts. But I think any principled individual who also, by the way, likes to save money, especially because of Joe Biden being president, every little bit helps. Yeah, I'll take an hour to
I do the gas tax refund. I get every penny back.
So those are some of the checks we're seeing this morning. 573-874-9390. Ken says, Branden, above all else, be yourself. Those that matter. Those that matter will mind. Those that mind most likely do not matter.
Amen.
So he's encouraging me to go to the big chamber event in Jefferson City tonight in the Mizzou Boonie hat and flip-flops and a jacket. I appreciate
No, wait. I didn't say the Boonie hat. I said you could wear flip-flops. You wear the Boonie hat to the tailgate party tomorrow.
We'll look forward to it. Here's something different here on a Feel Good Friday. Dog's name is Storm. And this dog in California, Los Angeles, actually. It's an Akita Shepherd mix, dog named Storm. Was caught on camera, apparently snuck out of her California home, and then went to nearby SoFi Stadium and sat in a seat. And apparently the animal stayed there for the entire concert. Attendance at the concert that night, 69,999 humans and one dog. Dog apparently remained there for the entirety of the show. People find the dog, they take it to the shelter, and then with Ring doorbell cameras and video from the concert, everybody was able to piece together this dog sitting with 69,999,000 other people sitting and staying to watch the entire concert. The concert that the dog busted out of the house to go see?
Snoop
Dogg!
Cherie said...
3 Dog Night.
Hannah?
I was also going to say Snoop Dogg.
Metallica.
A dumb dog.
No, good choice. That's all right.
The dog is a big fan of James Hetfield from Metallica. So, yeah, a little bit after 7 o'clock, money-saving tips from Cherie Tolson-Reich. And it's actually decent stuff because why is it that guys aren't that big on it seems like saving money and couponing and stuff. Why is that, Hannah, in your mind? Because I did when I was really young, first starting out. I'd get in the paper every Sunday and take my scissors. It was this whole ritual, you know. I'd open up the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and I would drink coffee, and it was the hard copy of the paper. And I'd go and then I'd get my scissors and I'd go and carefully snip, 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 and I'd go and get my 10 cents off a box of macaroni and cheese. And I did it because I had to. That's what I had to do at the time.
Yeah.
I don't do it now. It'd be helpful, but I just don't do it now. But am I stereotyping to say guys don't? This is not something guys really do.
As far as couponing or saving money in general?
Couponing.
Couponing, I do think there's the stereotype. It's just.
But with the apps, it's so much easier. I have a male relative, and he gets out his local grocery store app and gets
it.
Would beat only one guy in the presidential race. He would beat only one Republican, according to new polling that we have from CNN this morning. CNN, hours on the TV last night, bringing on everybody they could think of to try to find something positive in the polls for what polling is worth. They could not find it. One GOP presidential candidate that Biden could beat, according to this polling from CNN. Everybody else beats or ties him. DeSantis ties Biden. Trump beats Biden by 1 point in this polling. Pence beats Biden by 2 points, which starts. So when I see stuff like that, John, Pence beating Biden by 2 points, well, maybe it is a little wonky polling. Tim Scott beats Biden by 2 points. Chris Christie, he beats Biden by 2 points. Trump beats him by 1 point. The presidential candidate on the GOP side with the biggest lead, Nikki Haley. The one GOP candidate that Biden would beat in a presidential race, according to polling for what it's worth, Vivek Ramaswamy. And CNN and Democrats freaking out. Crazy.
That is a really interesting poll for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think what people have to keep in mind, Brandon and Representative, is that would be it's a hypothetical poll, but it's a nationwide poll, but that does not break it down by electoral college. And electoral college is going to be the key because California and New York are going to go to Biden or whoever the Democrat is, and you have a huge advantage when you can take those two states and then they try to build from there. But Republicans are going to have to hold on to those rural states, the southern states, and they're going to have to win Georgia. Georgia is going to be huge, and Michigan's going to be another battleground as well as Pennsylvania. That's where the Republicans are going to, I think, concentrate the most. But I think that poll is fascinating because Nikki Haley, at least with the listeners I've heard from, she's not very popular with some of the base. She's not.
Yeah. And she has the biggest lead over Biden, according to polling. By the way, other voice you're hearing this morning, State Representative Cherie Tolson-Reich.
Good morning.
Brian Houseworth, producer Hannah, John Marsh. I am Branden Rathert. Our phone number is 874-9390, and we are in the 573 area code. The other big thing this morning, sticker shock when you drive by gas stations this morning. Hannah and I noticed this yesterday, and I just filled up a few days ago. I think it was 343. I don't know what it was, but it certainly was not the 383 that I saw yesterday. That hurts, man.
Well, and we had listener Rick. He texted us at 874-9390. He said on Thursday, so just yesterday, he bought gas at $3.59 a gallon in Jefferson City. And as soon as he was finished pumping his gas, the signs all jumped 20 cents. He watched it happen.
Wow, what a lucky day for Rick. Rick, must be a good day. What are you grateful for? 874-9390. I was at an event a couple of weeks ago. Our local state representative, Cherie Tolson-Reich, represents a portion of parts of Boone County and some of the rural areas. One seat is you're going to be termed out following one last legislative session that starts, by the way, this legislative session, October, November, starts 4 months from now. 4 months from now, our next legislative session, veto session.
Veto session is next week. I think it'll be a pretty short, uneventful one. The House may be trying to override one bill. I don't look for the Senate to do anything much, but we're already working. We start in October preparing bills. We can start filing bills in December, hit the ground running in January.
Well, and I think, you mentioned that there's not going to be any overrides in the Senate. You mentioned that the House is going to try to do one override. I do think there may be some saber rattling. Nick Schroer and Bill Eigel, who I guarantee are listening to us this morning.
Yes.
They're furious with the governor, their own Republican governor, for vetoing some bills that deal with St. Charles County. In fact, Nick Schroer says this governor's a Democrat. He said that on Twitter.
Well, I won't quite go that far, but I'll tell you, we are co-equal branches of government. And, although I get along with Governor Parson quite well, we work together on different projects. We are independent in the House and Senate. We approved that budget. We sent that budget to the governor. We've got the money. Money's not the problem. And I'm a conservative tightwad, trust me. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing debate.
Cherie Tolson Reich, such a tightwad, as a matter of fact.
Easy.
No, it's true. It's true.
John,
I squeak.
Years ago in my first marriage, my son Trevor, who's 30 now, he was, 5 at the time, and his mom is an accountant, by the way. So you can imagine, Hannah, can you imagine somebody like me, as loose and fancy-free as I am, being married to an accountant who's not footloose and fancy-free?
I can't imagine you married, period. You could have stopped right there.
Anyhow, so it's a Sunday morning. We're reading the paper. We're in Idaho, John, and the wife, Trevor's mom, is saying, well, this and the money, this and then that. And I'm just sitting there reading the paper going, yeah, honey, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine, blah, blah, blah. So she gets up and she walks to go fetch me some more coffee. And as she's walking across the living room, I start going, squeak, 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 squeak. Every time she walks.
How'd that turn
But
out?
it's a compliment in a way, too. You're frugal.
Well, and John, that would be all except for this, which John's going to be doing at 7:50. So then 5-year-old Trevor picks up on this. So she's coming back through the room. She starts walking back through the room, and 5-year-old Trevor's over there giggling, going, squeak, 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 squeak. Mom did not think that was funny. So a couple weeks ago, I'm at a local pachyderm event. State Rep Cherie Tolson Reich was there and talking about, there was a big topic you were talking about.
My initiative petition that's starting now, and to freeze senior citizens' property tax.
Not to lower them, not to raise them, to
freeze them at the 2024 rate. It's got to go before the voters.
One of the things you got into a discussion about, and I got to tell you, because I'm always honest. When you first started, and here's ways to save money, and you started talking about coupons, I kind of rolled my eyes. I didn't roll them out loud, but I rolled my eyes. Oh, couponing. But you actually said some interesting stuff. Specifically when it comes to a credit for renters?
So this is real stuff that you can get your tax money back, and ways to save money with we've been talking all morning, the price of gas, the price of food. I, with my property management company, have managed a lot of senior citizens and disabled people. And in the 1970s, they started a thing to give money back called the circuit breaker. Right. It's called the Missouri Property Tax Credit. And a lot of seniors don't know about this. And if you rent or you own your own home, you can get money back. And I've been doing these forms for people for 30 years. It's online. Go to the Department of Revenue. It's called MOPTC, but you have to meet a certain income guideline and, put in how much you pay in rent a year or how much you pay in taxes.
But you could end up getting a credit.
You get money back. I just helped a person, and you can go back 3 years. They'd never heard of it. And I said, let's go back and do 22, 21, and 20.
Well, and here's the other thing about that is that was bipartisan. There's no question. But I want to go back to what you said about your initiative petition. Do you have the signatures to get on the ballot right now?
We're starting it.
Oh, you're starting it. Okay.
So I'll be doing a mass media release the week after veto. I'm a little busy right now with veto session and other things. So I brought a petition in. Yeah. You gentlemen and ladies are welcome to sign it if you want. You don't have to talk about it on the air. But any registered Boone County voter, based on the 2020 November election, we need to get about 4,600. Okay. And I'm hoping to present it to the county commission after the first year to get on the August or November 2024 ballot.
Well, and Cherie, I've also been trying to convince Branden to download the Upside app.
So let's talk about saving gas money.
So let's talk about that Upside app, because that was the one when you were saying.
I'm pretty sure Cherie's the one who tipped me off to it. I think you had posted about it on your Facebook page.
I did, and you can do my link, and then I get kind of like the pyramid scheme.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So I went and I downloaded this Upside app.
No way, no.
But I stopped when it wanted my banking information.
Oh, but they send the money to your account. I do it. No.
Not doing it. And I know what you're thinking right now, Hannah.
I've made hundreds of dollars off the Upside app.
I get so weird about giving my banking information to anybody.
He was a little smug, was it last week, week before last? He was talking about how much money he got back on the gas tax thing. And I pulled up my Upside app, and my lifetime savings or whatever, it was like $75, and it had been just over a year. So I'm like, I doubled what you did.
Yeah. And it keeps going up 2.5 cents until it's up to 12.5 cents
on the gas tax. So this Upside app, I thought I'm going to look into this. I figured if Cherie Tools and Reich is doing it, hey, it must be kind of legit. But I stopped at the banking info. Gas tax money is another way you can get money back. You can always go to the state treasurer's website.
Unclaimed property money. I'm an official ambassador. I've returned millions of dollars. I found your dad some money about a week ago. And anybody want to know, if they just go to showmemoney.com or make sure it's the official treasurer's website, not one of these headhunters that charge you a fee. And, if you need the gas tax refund, we have an Excel spreadsheet to track it.
Teresa's in Jefferson City this morning sent us a picture, gas station, Cenex gas station, west side on the boulevard. Gas there still apparently $3.59 a gallon. We're seeing $3.83.
Oh, we all better drive over there and fill up.
Welcome into a Feel Good Friday. State Rep Cherie Tools and Reich hanging out with us. Coming up, we're going to be doing What's Hot with Hannah.
There is a contest going on in Europe that I think we should start here. I think we could implement it here in the studio.
All right. Hannah, Is it?
It is 7:25 on the money.
Time
Wow.
for what's?
Yay!
Right? Good job, Brandon. You did what you were supposed to do.
Can I get another trophy? Can I get another award for that? Time for What's Hot with Hannah.
Now, there is a contest in the very small Southern European country of Montenegro that is doing a contest for the 12th time that I think we should look into implementing here in the Wake Up Mid-Missouri studios. And it is a contest for the laziest citizen. In this contest, they put a bunch of folks in a room together and they make them lay down. And they see who can remain laying down for the longest period of time. As of yesterday morning, they were headed into their 20th day of these folks laying down, and 7 of the original 21 contestants were still in the competition.
So they started off with 20, so 13 people like, this is too hard. It's too much work to lay down
20
for
days.
3 weeks.
They're allowed their cell phone and a laptop, and every 8 hours they get a 10-minute break to go to the bathroom.
Every 8 hours?
That is it.
Wow.
That's too long to wait.
Last year, the winner had been laying down for 117 hours.
Jeez.
And I have not heard that a winner has been declared. So I would imagine that at least some of the 7 remaining contestants that were there yesterday morning are still kicking, or still laying, I guess.
It used to be, man, catch me on a Sunday, so I keep track of the steps in the Fitbit and everything whenever I go to the gym. On Sundays, like for a while there, I was trying to set record for, because every day,
you were
10 to 12,000 steps a day and burning calories and all that. But on Sundays, man, I'll lay on that couch and watch South Park all day. And like every day, I was trying to man, last Sunday I got 1,100 steps. John, can I do better? Can I knock it down to 1,000 steps on this day? So I'd be kind of on board with this.
Yeah, you would come in on Monday mornings and you'd be like, Hannah, look at my Fitbit. Look how few steps I got.
So it's a contest on how little you walk on Sundays.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Just sign them up as astronauts or something for the International Space Station if they're not going to move for that long.
Yeah.
Hannah, what's the prize if you're the laziest person?
You know?
What do you get?
Trophy. You get a trophy and...
there's a 1,000 euro prize, which is just over $1,000 US.
Oh, that's
I don't know
not
if that's worth it.
It's not.
But it's something we should try here. I kind of like that idea. Who's the laziest person in the world?
Well, I was just thinking that exactly like you were saying, on the weekends, it's nice to chill, especially, you and John get to the station at ungodly hours every single morning. That's hard on your body, so you got to play catch up on the weekends.
And I agree with that because I know some people we got to go on the weekends. Yeah, well, see, my life is a little different. I get up at 2 in the morning. I got to do some things differently. So if I'm going to take a day and do nothing, I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to feel bad about that. That reminds me, I was actually late this morning, Hannah.
Oh no.
Yeah, he didn't get here till almost 2:45.
What?
I'm going to have to write you up for that one.
So I just wanted to let you know, to make up for coming in late today, I'm going to be leaving early today to make up for that.
Sounds logical.
It's a Friday. I will allow it.
We've got some great texts. We were talking about this Upside app that Cherie Tolson-Rice has talked about before, and I even went and I started to sign up for it, and then they wanted my banking info, and I got that old, the old white guy who's afraid of technology stuff, thinking people are going to get my banking account information if I sign up for this Upside app. But we're getting some great comments from that. Are they all favorable? We're going to be sharing some of those coming up for a few minutes from now, and prison officials restricting access to books. It's for a different reason than a lot of conservatives are stopping them in libraries, but they're stopping
a different kind of book banning.
Yeah, different kind of book banning. That story coming up a few minutes from now. What you need to know about traveling on I-70 this weekend. Good morning.
I don't think we have one, to be honest. And we would like to buy one from you today. So if we could go out to your truck, I would love to pick one out. And he was very confused by this. He didn't know what to say, but, it's a new time. So he was like, is your husband here by any chance?
Nate Bargatze. Any of those specials on the Netflix, pretty good. Very funny, and he's clean. It's something you could watch in front of I don't know if you'd watch it in front of the kids, but he's clean. It's good stuff. Welcome into a Feel Good Friday edition of Wake Up Mid-Missouri. I'm Branden Rathert. There's Mr. John Marsh.
Good morning.
Man, looking forward to tonight. We're going to be hanging out. Where are we going to be, bud?
Be at the Jefferson City Chamber of Commerce Gala tonight.
They hand out a bunch of awards, good food, and we hobnob. It's going to be a good time. So if you're going to be at the Jefferson City Gala Chamber event tonight, make sure you look for me and John Marsh. I'll be the one in a suit and flip-flops. There's producer Hannah.
Hello.
Cherie Tolson-Reich.
Good morning.
Local State Rep is hanging out with us this morning. Also, we're going to be at, we got a lot of things going on this weekend. Hopefully you come out and say hello. Tomorrow, Tiger Tailgate starts at 4 o'clock in anticipation of the 6 o'clock kick. Buffalo Wild Wings, free Buffalo Wild Wings, free Bud Light. And listen, I know, you're free Bud Light. Why you got, they're giving away Bud Light. It's free, and I'll say this too because
I wonder why.
We have a local distributor helping us out with this, as we do every year. The local distributor had nothing to do with that fiasco. They had nothing to do with it. Okay?
We'll put it in a Michelob Ultra cup for you if you're that sensitive.
And you know what? I think that's been the most interesting thing is like, well, okay, I'll take it because, it's free. But can you just put it in a different cup or something?
Put a koozie on it or something.
There you go.
It's free, and the local folks who are helping us out with this, they had nothing to do with that. As a matter of fact, as I understand it, the headquarters of Budweiser, they paid all these local distributors. They gave them a whole bunch of money because these local folks that had nothing to do with the ineptitude on the part of Budweiser, they had nothing to do with it. Budweiser is just like making it rain. Here's a bunch of cash. We're sorry, and here's more cash for any stupid stuff we might do in the future. But if you want your passes, here's what you can do. You can go to places in let's say you're in Mexico. You can go to Graff & Sons in Jefferson City. You can go to Big Whiskey's in Columbia. You can go to Boone Hospital Wound Healing Center. You just ask them, hey, I heard the folks on Wake Up Mid-Missouri talking about these free passes. Are they really free? Yep. And then join us 2 hours prior to kickoff for every single game.
I've been to your tailgates before. They're a lot of fun.
They're a blast. It's a good time. We were talking earlier, State Rep Cherie Tolson-Reich was talking about some tips on saving money. We got into a discussion about the Upside app. She gave a presentation a couple of weeks ago at a political event, was talking about ways to save money, get your gas tax refund. It's easy to do. Takes an hour. Get it back. Don't complain about it. Get the money back. The credits for renters and certain groups.
Missouri Property Tax Credit.
And then the Upside app. And I thought, if Cherie Tolson-Reich is cool with this, I'll give it a shot. So I go and I figure out how to download this app onto my phone and then get to where they want the banking info. And I said, no, but we're getting a lot of folks, a lot of Wake Up Mid-Missouri family members use it and saying all positive things.
Well, so Tara says when she signed up for the app, she did not have to give her banking info. So, Branden, I don't know if that's something you want to continue to look into.
So I think they can send it to a PayPal account or different ways. I don't know if it's Venmo or what, but mine goes right to my bank account.
But you're missing out because then we have people like listener Keith who texted and said that he's already cashed out, wait for it, over $350.
That's wonderful.
In Walmart gift cards.
Did he say how long?
He doesn't.
Does
it matter?
But if you drive a lot, the more you get back. You buy a lot of gas, you get more back.
So if I spend more,
you save more.
Okay. John says
Bidenomics.
So you just keep spending more money and you're going to save a little bit more. There was a grocery store in St. Louis. I think it was Shop and Save. The more you shop, the more you save every day at Shop and Save. I'm like, well, that didn't make sense. I got to spend more money. I want to save a lot of money. How do I do that? Well, just spend more money. It doesn't make any sense. And then this text from John says it's all good until some hacker cleans out your checking account.
That could be said about any app that uses your debit card, though.
Yeah, my debit card got hacked several months ago, and my bank alerted me. Somebody was trying to use my number in Kansas City, and they stopped it.
I got hacked about 10 years ago in Florida. Somebody called me and they said, Mr. Rathert, it looks like you're spending money in Jacksonville, Florida. Well, I was on the other side of Florida. I was in Pensacola, Florida. Said, looks like you're in Jacksonville, Florida spending money, and this seems odd. Is this you? And I'm like, no. As a matter of fact, I was in the middle of a radio show. I'm like, no, it's not me. And they said, did you lend your card to anybody to buy products from Sally Beauty Supply? Somebody got a hold of my debit card and spent $700 on curlers and weaves and gel for hair. $700 at Sally Beauty Supply.
I used to work in a bank, and we would do, debit card disputes all the time. And you just go into your bank. You could probably do it over the phone, too.
I did it over the phone. Yeah, they were great.
You tell them which charges are fraudulent, and the bank will fight it for you.
I'm going to tell them, hey, see where I spent money at the gasoline station? It's fraudulent. Shouldn't be that much. Thanks, Joe.
Plus, Brandon, they should have known with your hairdo that you weren't spending that kind of money at Sally. You didn't need hair gel and stuff.
I don't know. He used to frost his tips, according to him.
No, I did.
Has a weave and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, he used to bleach his hair.
I didn't have a weave.
But he was in Florida, so yeah, everybody's hair is blonder.
All right, moving forward from the frosting the hair tip thing.
Did you just do the tip, or?
Yeah, just
the tip.
Very lightly, just the tip,
okay.
And that was the promise. The promise was just the tip.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, but it did, and I'm serious. And it wasn't the whole head of hair; it was just on top. And I'm not kidding. It did make me look less bald.
Even just doing the tip.
Just the tip.
Huh.
That was the promise, and held true to that promise until then.
Well, you look great, just like you are, Brandon.
And then the tips got too short. They weren't long enough. They couldn't do it anymore. This manhunt for this guy in Pennsylvania. This story, I don't know why I'm fascinated by this story, except for the fact that the dude he's killed somebody and he's an illegal immigrant, but it's okay. He came to our
video of him climbing up the wall like Spider-Man.
So here's how this guy escaped. But here's what I thought was interesting about the story is all these headlines. And there was another headline just this morning on Fox, railed on USA Today for using the same headline the other day. Fox had a headline this morning. Search intensifies for escaped killer. Well, shouldn't it have been intense in the first place? It should be. You should be searching for this guy to a point where it can't get any more intensive, right?
They have schools locked down and everything else. They should have caught him day one.
It should already be intensive. But apparently he's out in the yard, man, doing whatever prisoners do out on a yard. And he does, like a crab walk, kind of a Spider-Man walk. There's two walls that are close enough to each other that he could put his hands on one wall, put his feet back on the other, and walk up. Is that making sense as I
Yeah,
describe
so
it?
my grandkids do this. We call it American Ninja. They can walk up walls.
Crazy. And that's how he got out. And they can't find him. This killer, this illegal immigrant, cannot find the guy. And then I heard a story in Missouri prisons. Officials want to restrict access to books for different reasons, and a lot of Republicans want to stop access to books in libraries. But why is this?
So I'll be honest. There's a lot of drug overdoses in Missouri prisons, a lot of fentanyl getting in through books, mail, other ways. And you would think, of all places, how are drugs getting into prisons? And these people are smart enough to figure it out. So we've got to ban mail, that they have to be copied and verified.
Brian Houseworth, he was in the prison system. Not as
What?
Now, wait a second.
He's been on parole for years now.
He's big on the C word. Context.
All right, got to talk about the C word. Context. He was like a public information officer. By the way, Hannah, we talk about, I said we need to get I need to do something less stressful after recent visits to the doctor. I had a stress test a couple weeks ago, and I said, I need a job that has about as much stress as like a mortician in a funeral home. Or who's the guys, county officials that perform surgeries on dead people? The dudes who do the autopsy.
Medical examiner.
I want to be a coroner because it's surgery on dead people. That's the
Yeah, but there's like investigations and stuff that rely on those results. I don't think that would be as low stress as you think it might.
And then that's when I would hand it over to you. But I think the next job I think I'd be good as a as a public information officer because of my communication skills.
I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I disagree.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, let's have Brian and John do that. They're the experts.
Maybe add the name of the non-existent daughter to the obit, right?
Oh, gosh, like they did at the White House. My goodness, they did that the other day. Bill Richardson served in the Clinton administration, was the governor for 2 terms in New Mexico. He dies. White House puts out a statement. And, our condolences to the wife and the daughter, Heather. This came from the White House. CNN and MSNBC, they picked up on it and then started talking about this daughter, Bill Richardson, Heather, the daughter, Heather. There is no daughter.
They haven't learned how to use a thing called Google.
Wikipedia. They ain't doing it. Coming up just a few minutes from now, we are going to be doing That Would Be All, except for this. Just kind of a little laugh before you get into work this morning, and then listen online at 939theeagle.com or 1045 News Radio 950 KWOS. And also wanted to remind you at our Tiger Tailgate tomorrow, water from Echo Water, free water at the Tiger Tailgate from Echo Water. We appreciate you guys helping us out with that. Coming up next, of course, we are going to be doing That Would Be All except for this. What do you have for us, John?
Can yoga change your life, or is that a bit of a stretch?
Stretch, get it?
That's good.
4
and the
and suffering
friend
its
gets
fourth straight
$5.
session of declines. S&P 500 down 14.
Coming up 8:25, we'll look at the futures. We'll be monitoring the opening bell for you, and also in the morning bell business news with a little twist. We're going to be looking at, people say money can't buy happiness. Well, I say BS, it sure can buy happiness. That's coming up. How much does happiness cost to buy? That's coming up 8:25 this morning.
And that would be all, except for this.
Yes, can yoga change your life? Well, they thought there'd been a premeditated mass murder as cops in the UK this week burst into a yoga class after a terrified woman, they said, called them and said there were students lying on the ground, apparently victims of a mass killing. The Seascape Cafe revealed the deal while apologizing for a bunch of police sirens that disturbed the small town's seaside zen. Squad cars said they raced there after someone reported a mass killing with bodies laying on the floor, which turned out to be a yoga class. Ooh. The only corpse lying around was a pose the attendees were performing. The corpse pose, also known as Shavasana, is where you lay on your back with your arms and legs spread out, sort of like snow angels, I guess. Yoga instructor Millie, who owns the place, said, "We're not part of any mad cult or crazy clubs. They thought I was a murderer, but I can assure you I just hold space for deep relaxation." And the police told the BBC the caller had good intentions. No word on what happened to the downward dog who was walking by. And there's your bit of a stretch on yoga for the week.
Man, talk about jumping to conclusions.
Facts matter.
They do.
Context.
Stories from time to time whenever they do the real artsy folks. They do like a play in the park, like an impromptu play, and there's one, I don't know, it was like a Julius Caesar or something, and they get to the part where he gets stabbed, and people are like, oh my God, they start calling 911, quick, come to Douglas Park, there's a reenactment. I don't know that a reenactment of a Julius Caesar play would ever happen at Douglas Park on the edge of downtown Columbia. But so we see those things happen from time to time. There's a great episode of The Office where they were practicing CPR on a dummy. And you've seen it, Hannah?
Yes.
And the over-rambunctious Dwight K. Schrute.
Dwight was behind all sorts of those things, like when he started the fire for the fire drill.
Yeah. By the way, if anybody's a The Office fan, is there the greatest episode of The Office ever has to be, and I think it was season 1, season 2, but they were talking about the sexual harassment policy and just the whole episode because they weren't politically correct. It's a great show. It's one of those shows, some of the things they did on there probably would not be able to get away with.
Of course your favorite episode involves sexual harassment.
Well, it's because of the way that they handled it.
Huh.
Has Branden had his annual training yet?
He's overdue for that one.
So people laugh about that, and there's a story I didn't tell for a lot of years. I was a victim of sexual harassment in Florida from a female coworker, and here's the thing. Here's what kind of changed my mind about that, or it made me evolve. Not that I'm in favor of sexual harassment in the workplace, believe me, but I got it, and here's why. Because I was the new guy at this radio station in Pensacola, and this gal, she owned town, and she did mornings on the country station. And she owned this town. She really did. And so when I get there, and she's like, well, hey, I'll go out and I'll show you around and show you town. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then, we ended up dating somehow. I don't know how that happened. Well, then we didn't date anymore. I ended this very quick, very short relationship. And she made my life a living hell. Oh. It was bad. And here's the thing. So I'm the new guy, and every day walking to this office, she's going around and telling people things about me that aren't true, and I'm the new guy. And so she had this control over me and with management because of what she was telling them. And I'm serious. And I don't spend a lot of time living in fear, but I was in fear of what would happen till the point I finally had to go to management. Thank God I'd saved text, Facebook messages, all that stuff. So we had to go through the whole training, which you do, I think, every year anyway. But it was a horrible experience, and I understand it now because I have that experience. It was the control that she had over me and the fear of what could happen next. Some real serious stuff. 8:35 this morning. We're picking winners and losers of the week. Cherie Tolson-Rice, our guest co-host this morning. She's going to be one of our winners. We were talking about this dog that busted out of a house in Los Angeles, went and sat at a concert. statement according to new polling just released yesterday from CNN. Every single GOP presidential contender in this polling, for what polling is worth, every single GOP presidential candidate beats Joe Biden except for just one. Vivek Ramaswamy. Trump beats Biden. Nikki Haley beats Biden. Scott beats Biden. Chris Christie beats Biden. Pence beats Biden. The GOP presidential candidate who beats Biden by the largest margin, Nikki Haley.
Surprise.
From South Carolina. What do you think about Nikki Haley?
I've liked her when she was in the Trump administration. Great governor of South Carolina. Not sure as presidential candidate because I'm a Trump supporter.
Well, and here's the thing. They're all fine candidates.
Yeah.
They really are. I mean, Tim Scott, gosh, he would be.
Oh, I love Tim Scott.
They all have the same, basically the same thinking. Trump rules the party.
Yeah.
Trump would beat, he would beat Joe Biden by 1 point, according to this polling from CNN. But, John, here's the thing. Again, we always got to preface it. I feel like I can't say it too much for what polling is worth, okay? But the thing that I am noticing now, it seems these polls are becoming consistent. We're seeing growth, not just with Trump and chipping away at that Biden lead, but Republicans as a whole doing better against Biden. Are you sensing that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Right on the money with that.
Yeah. And it's consistent. So maybe that lends some credence to some things. Pretty impressive polling. And again, it's the economy. Just like James Carville said back in the day. It's the
economy, stupid.
As a matter of fact, so what did James Carville have to say last night? CNN in tears all over, like, we can't believe our own polling is showing this. They had everybody on the TV all night talking about these poll numbers. It shows everybody is beating Joe Biden. They brought on famed strategist James Carville, and a Democrat.
The polls are not were not great, and it tells us that voters are expressing some apprehension here. It's pretty clear. I mean, there's not much else you can say when you look at them.
And I think that's the most powerful statement you can say. What can you say? And that's from famed Democratic strategist James Carville. Welcome to Feel Good Friday edition of Wake Up Mid-Missouri. I am Branden Rathert. You're hearing State Representative Cherie Tolson-Rice. Good morning.
Good morning.
Producer Hannah, John Marsh. Brian Houseworth is here getting ready for winners and losers of the week, 8:35. If you have local winners especially, we call it winners and losers. Yeah, we have some losers. And Hannah, we have one rule when we do winners and losers of the week.
You can't nominate Joe Biden because it's a given that he's just the biggest loser.
It's just understood. That's all. But if you have winners, especially on a local level, feel free to text those to us, 874-9390, 874-9390. Real quickly, wanted to highlight a local company employs a lot of folks. They get national accolades a lot. And as a matter of fact, People magazine recognizing this mid-Missouri company, Veterans United Home Loans, named as one of the great places to work in America. I want to bring in Chad Muller real quick. Veterans United, congratulations. What are you guys doing there that People magazine recognizes what it is that you guys are doing?
Hey, gang. Great morning. Thanks for having me on to talk about this award. Yeah, we're real excited. People magazine just they rank a bunch of companies around the country, and it's the companies that care list, and we found our way on that list once again, and we're on there quite regularly. So it's just it's a nice honor for the company, and it just talks about how it just ranks companies based on how they treat employees and the culture that's built. Certainly, I think it's also got something to do with the great work that our company does in the community around mid-Missouri and supporting a bunch of organizations too. So I think there's a lot that goes into it, but bottom line is we're just really pleased to be mentioned.
What's the one biggest, before we let you go, one biggest thing you think you do that says that People magazine recognizes right here in mid-Missouri, recognizes you guys and says, yes, you guys are it. What's the biggest thing you think you guys do?
I think it's all about the culture that Veterans United Home Loans has built since being established in Columbia in 2002. So just the way they treat employees and take care of people and obviously show that they care not only about employees but the local community as well. So a lot goes into it, and again, we're just thrilled to be part of it.
Kudos. Chad Muller, Veterans United. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Chad.
By the way, text regarding backup on I-70.
I've got an update on that, by the way. I do. Go ahead and say what so what the texter says because I am curious because I've got some brand new information here.
I-70 westbound backed up for 3 miles past Kingdom City, 2 separate accidents.
Well, there's one. I'm not aware of two, and I just got off the phone with the Missouri State Highway Patrol in Jefferson City. So if there is other people that are aware of a second accident, please let us know because the patrol's not aware of that. But Brandon, this is a big deal. It's at the 149-mile marker. This is a mile east of Kansas City, Kingdom City, not Kansas City, a mile east of there, 149-mile marker. It's in westbound I-70. The passing lane is shut down. We've had a tractor-trailer jackknife. It is in the median. It has spilled 40,000 pounds of alcohol. 40,000 pounds of alcohol they've got to spill. It's apparently a real mess, and traffic is backed up as far as the eye can see. They got to get the alcohol cleared up. Then they've got to get the trailer cleared up. It's in the median. People going eastbound are slowing down to take a look at all the commotion.
So that's the alcohol being delivered for our free Tiger Tailgate tomorrow, maybe.
Is it all Bud Light?
She mentioned she mentioned the brand, and it was I don't drink, so it was a brand.
I don't either.
Booze.
It is alcohol. It really is.
And where was that located?
Everybody's heading there.
Talk real slow, Brian.
149-mile marker. It
Free
would be
beer.
the westbound lanes of I-70. It's the passing lane that is shut down right now. Brandon, this is interesting. I have a scanner.
It sure is.
You guys got the rest of the show, right? I'll be right back.
Well, in what's interesting is I have the scanner going on all morning in the newsroom, and then we pick up most stuff, but not everything. But Kingdom City is hit or miss. This apparently crashed at 5:36, and we're just hearing about it from listeners, but it apparently has been out there since almost 5:30. Nowhere near being cleaned up right now. Avoid that area if at all possible. If you're coming from, let's say, Williamsburg or maybe Hatton, find another way to get to Kingdom City or Columbia until they can get this
cleared. So a lot of state employees going to Jeff City. Going to be late today, just so y'all all know. And
taking
if you're
the long way around.
Try the tri-level. So if you're in that area, if you could, real quick, we would appreciate a phone call at 874-9390 if you're stuck in that traffic jam. Just since your eyes on the ground, I'm sure other folks listening to the show this morning would really appreciate your input, 874-9390. And then this weekend, Rocheport Bridge going to be collapsing faster than the Kansas City Chiefs offense last night.
Too soon.
That hurts.
This is Rocheport Bridge Project Director Mike Shoop talking to KOMU.
We'll clear the traffic in between the bridge and those vehicles and those emergency vehicles, the Highway Patrol and London vehicles, or the contractor vehicles, to make sure that there's no traffic in between them and the bridge, east and westbound.
So that's Sunday morning. Now think about this too, by the way.
7:30 a.m. approximately.
So we have a big game, Mizzou in Columbia. Saturday night. Make sure you get your free Tiger Tailgate passes, and is what you do. You can go to the website, it's 939theeagle.com, KWS.com, and get more. But it's free Buffalo Wild Wings, free Bud Light, high noon, and you can go to places like you can go to G&D Pizzeria in Columbia. You can go to Big Whiskey's in Jeff City or Club Car Wash in Boonville. Get your free passes. Hy-Vee. Echo Water Systems, Twain Barbecue, and Tap Room all helping us 2 hours before every game this year, man. We're just handing it out. It's free stuff. I'll be there tomorrow. So would love the opportunity to meet you. So we've got a game. Starts at 6 o'clock. Be done by 9. I'm guessing there's going to be some folks staying in town, and they're going to get up bright and early.
That's right.
Sunday morning, and they're going to hop onto I-70 heading back home to Boonville or to St. Joe's or to Kansas City. That might be a problem.
It's going to be a problem. They better take Midway around Old 40 to Boonville to go around.
Well, here's the problem.
But that'll be backed up, too.
That will be. But I am going to mention this because we have covered it extensively on the news. It's up on our website. I'm going to put another update up there this morning. It's on KWS.com as well. The TV stations locally have all been hitting this hard. We just heard KOMU there, the soundbite from Brandon. It's been in both papers. The problem is you have thousands of people coming in from Kansas City. This has not been covered by the Kansas City press. So I'll mention it during my scoreboard shows on Mizzou because it's going to affect a lot of Mizzou fans. My fear is the truckers come from all over the country. They're not going to know about this. They're going to get stuck out there. And when MoDOT says they think it's going to be an hour or two, figure 3 to 4 hours. These things always take longer. They're going to dump 6 million pounds of steel into the river. That is a ton. I'm not exact. 6 million. They got to get divers down there to get it out, and then go over to the other bridge to make sure there's no debris on the other side. It's going to take, figure 3-4 hours.
How many divers?
Right on the money.
How many divers does it take to go down and swim and lift 6 million pounds of steel out of the river?
I don't have an exact number.
They use cranes. They go down, hook up cranes.
They do, but they will use some divers too. They will
Plus,
go
we
check
need
on
people
stuff.
to stay off the Katy Trail and just no spectators. Just stay away.
Yeah, they're going to actually close the Katy Trail.
They will. MoDOT will videotape it. You'll be able to see it later or live. They may live stream it.
Yeah, you can go to MoDOT's page, I believe, and they're going to be streaming it live. That bridge been in place since 1960. The other thing happening this weekend, I don't get into these things. I don't care what national day of the year it is, but it's apparently Sunday, National TV Dinner Day. And I bring this up. Are there such things? Are there TV dinners anymore? Or is it all just microwavable? Is there the honest-to-goodness old Swanson's tin foil trays with the turkey smothered in gravy that God knows how many years old it was, and the mashed potatoes, and then the little brownie that you had to take out for most of the baking, but then in the last 10 minutes of the baking process, you had to put it in the thing. Do they make those things anymore? Does anybody know?
They do, and they're kind of in a cardboardish type material you put in the microwave, not the old aluminum foil put in the oven.
Jerry Thomas is the guy who invented the TV dinner. It's actually kind of fascinating. There's a show on the History Channel on Sundays. Oh, I got to move forward. Morning Bell coming up 8:25. Never mind. I'll tell you this story later. Coming up.
Smooth.
Yeah. Lost track of time, Hannah. Coming up 5 minutes from now. Morning Bell. How much does happy For the Morning Bell business news with a little twist. Right now, futures down this morning, just minutes ahead of the opening bell in New York. So who says money can't buy happiness? You think money can buy happiness, Cherie? State Rep Cherie Tolson.
No, I don't.
No? See,
it may help a little, but no.
How about this way, John? What if we put it this way? It will help relieve worries and stresses that a lot of us have, especially now, right?
Yeah.
And
you can buy companionship.
What?
If I'm less stressed because I have money to buy things like, I don't know, just like food and gasoline.
Yeah.
I'm happy to get in my car and drive. I'm happy when I eat. So I think to that extent. However, and as somebody who doesn't, I don't have money. I have money for everything I need in life. I do. And I've even got money for a few things that I want. And I'm happy. So I see that. What about you, Hannah?
Do I think money can buy happiness? I think money can buy short-term happiness.
There you go. Rent it for a while.
Yeah.
Daniel Tosh, comedian Daniel Tosh, he put it best years ago in one of his stand-up specials. He says, you know what? He said money buying happiness. He says, you know what money can buy? It can buy a jet ski. Have you ever seen anybody on a jet ski with a frown on their face?
No.
Exactly.
I had one blow up at the lake.
And you have to
last
choose to be happy.
Wait, there was a jet ski explosion last weekend?
At the lake, yeah.
Ooh,
Man.
Didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it was a busy summer on the lake. So the maybe money can buy you happiness, at least for some. That optimistic conclusion comes from a recent study of how much that amount might be in different parts of the world in the U.S. So a salary of about $105,000 on average is seen as enough to make people happy in the United States, although that amount varies depending on where they live, according to S-Money. This is a money exchange service. It used a 2018 Purdue University study that looked at how much money would make people feel satisfied with life. And that's where I start to fall apart from, money can buy you some happiness. It can buy you a jet ski. It can buy you this. It can relieve stress when you can, pay your bills and not have to worry. Like, okay, if we get paid on the 1st and I have this check, and I'm paid these bills, and then I get paid again on the 15th, or as a state employee getting paid every
every other week.
Yeah, that's a stressor.
Used to be twice a month, but it changed.
You know what makes me happy? Not stressing, and not stressing about bills. So I can see how some people, it would certainly help. So money's relationship to happiness is regularly examined by scientists from Princeton and Harvard to schools in Pennsylvania. Purdue University found the ideal average income for individuals worldwide, $95,000 to $105,000. But I think and I don't know if it's a mindset or what, there's a lot of other things in life that you can do, I think, to be happy.
Look at the lottery winners, though, and the reality shows they show about them. They win all this money, and a lot of them just end up miserable and or broke.
Yes.
We had a guest on a couple years ago. Is following a huge jackpot, and this guy had a book of stories, and some of the stories you would recognize. Oh yeah, I remember that big lottery winner, and he's just detailed the problems that it caused them in life and what happened. Number one, you get people coming, hey, we went to second grade together. Can I get some money from you?
Family.
You get that, and that's one of the things this guy said. He said a lot of times he learned the worst offenders when somebody comes, whether it's lottery or a big chunk of money, it's then family members coming after you, wanting money, and all the stresses and everything that happens with that when you win the lottery. So money does not always buy happiness. It can buy some pain and anguish.
which is nice. I don't care for the tone it is mowed in. She wanted to mow it. And I was like, look, that's fine, but I want you to go tell every neighbor that you choose to do this. I don't want to always be getting stopped like, you the guy that makes his wife mow the yard? I'm like, yeah, I got my mom on the roof right now.
Nate Bargatze, Bargatz. Nate Bargatze is that guy's name. He's got several specials on Netflix. I've seen them all at least once, if not more than once. It's good stuff. He's funny, and he's clean.
Branden, I have to tell you, people in Hallsville know this, but I love to mow grass for free, and they'll see me riding all over Hallsville in my John Deere lawnmower, mowing people's grass for free.
For free, you say?
Oh, yes, yes. It's my hobby. It relaxes me.
Now, do you load up the riding mower onto a trailer and drive it around, or you just drive the mower from town to town?
I just drive the mower. Hallsville's not that big.
So if you see some crazy woman on a tractor...
No, lawnmower.
A green one.
Out on a green lawnmower, like mowing the sidewalk or the road, it's probably state representative.
I do that, too. I mow people's ditches and things. Yeah.
Olson Reich, who is hanging out with us.
For free. For free.
Looking 5 miles an hour.
And I pick up litter and shopping carts.
Yes, you do.
And take in homeless people.
Brian Houseworth is here.
That's good. It's good to see you, Branden.
You pick up hitchhikers on
no,
your red mower?
I don't. Although I do carry concealed, I'm just not that much of a risk taker.
John Marsh is here. Good morning.
Yes, sir.
There's producer Hannah.
Hello.
Days away from... so after you get married, will your name be different than producer Hannah? Do we take on a married name after you get married?
Legally, yes. On air, it's not going to change.
It's an air name, right?
Yeah. It's my stage name, Rathert, kind of like Branden.
Listen, one time...
And I know that inside joke.
Which one? Because I don't...
Your stage name, real name.
Oh, Henry?
Henry.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't...
That's not a secret.
No, it's not.
I've never... In kindergarten, I used the name Henry, and kids made fun of me, and so I just went to my middle name, and I've been going by Branden for, 46, 47 years. I sign all my legal documents, Branden Rathert, and then I was always hesitant to talk about my real name. You know why? Because of something called CaseNet.
Well, let's go, Branden.
Go ahead. Nothing in Missouri.
It's funny that when you were growing up, kids would make fun of the name Henry.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's been a very popular name in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah,
it is. I've seen a lot of people here locally naming their kids Henry.
So I'm named after my dad and grandfather and the Henry before that. As a matter of fact, I think technically I'm Henry VIII in the
How many wives?
And now for nominees for the winners and losers of the week.
A quick segue.
Winner of the week. We don't need to do the segment right there. Cherie won. We're good.
I'm the winner of the week then. Yay.
All right. Winners.
There actually used to be.
You're cracking me up, guys.
There used to be a hotel in St. Louis near Lambert called Henry VIII's Hotel.
Yeah, that was mine.
That was at one time. That's no longer with us.
Neither is Henry VIII.
And neither are Branden's wives.
Both of them.
We're picking on Branden. We need to stop that.
No.
874-9390. This dude, he's one of my winners of the week.
Thank you, Corrine. President Biden is the oldest president in U.S. history. Why does White House staff treat him like a baby?
One of my winners. Cherie, you got a winner you'd like to mention, a loser of the week?
You know, I'm blank right now, but, I just...
Been laughing so hard we've lost the oxygen to the brain.
Yeah, sorry.
Houseworth?
I got nothing.
I understand. I've got two quick winners. I'm going to nominate our MoDOT employees. Obviously, they're working this unusual situation, obviously, near Kingdom City right now. They're going to have their hands full on Sunday in Roachport, and they really do. They've worked some horrific crashes. People have no idea the terrible things they see, and just kudos to them for the work they do and all the first responders for the work they do. And the other one on a legislative, I'm going to nominate your colleague, Cherie, Representative David Tyson Smith. I know you were involved with it as well, but his bill to designate June 12th of each year as Women Veterans Appreciation Day signed into law by the governor. Senator Bean carried that in the Senate. Bipartisan bill. That's kind of a big deal. So I'm going to nominate Representative David Tyson Smith as well.
Sandy Paulson says Reich, Cherie Tolson, Reich, Halsworth, Marsh, and producer Hannah, winners of the week. She says, you guys rock.
Right.
But not Brandon? She didn't mention you?
Nope.
Oh.
Dawn, text 874-9390. She says, earlier we were talking about the expense. Here's what the economy is like now. Hannah is considering doing a BYOF wedding.
Wow.
Bring your own food. That's what it's like. Gas prices blowing up overnight in most places in mid-Missouri. I saw $3.83 a gallon yesterday. So guess what happens? The people that are delivering your food to the grocery stores, the guy who delivers the gasoline to your gas station, guess what? He's buying that same gas. Cost him a lot of money. So all of these things then will go up. As a matter of fact, according to AAA, Missouri near record prices just like that. But we're talking about bring your own food. Dawn text, and she owns the bakery. She owns the bake shop in Boonville. I own Taylor's Bake Shop in Boonville.
I know Dawn, and she's an awesome cook and baker.
I didn't know. She's great.
And
she says a great bakery.
She says via text, by the way, she squeaks when she walks, too. Because she's so tight
way to
with
go,
money.
Dawn. We're two peas in a pod.
She says a little late on this topic, but advice for weddings and saving money. You mentioned a BYOF wedding. Bring your own food. She says, I did a wedding cake for a couple having a surprise wedding at the end of a trail ride with a carry-in dinner. The wedding was catered by us. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, one of our coworkers here at Zimmer, they did a surprise wedding, and they just invited everyone over to their house for like a potluck. Basically, they provided the meat and asked everybody to bring a side or a dessert. And when everybody showed up, they said, surprise, you're at our wedding.
Oh,
unfortunately, though, her brother wasn't able to attend, and she couldn't, spill the beans on their secrets.
So she couldn't do this. You know when somebody's getting honored for something or there's a big event coming up, and they're like, yeah, I'm not going to this thing. But then somebody comes to you and says, hey, you should probably really be there.
Not only was I not planning on going, I had plans.
Yeah.
I had somewhere else to be.
Has that ever happened to you? Somebody's come up like, hey, there's a real important thing. You're like, yeah, I'm not going to that.
Yeah.
And then somebody says to you, hey,
yeah,
I hate to spoil a surprise, but you should probably be there. Has that ever happened to you, Hannah?
Yeah, pretty recently, actually.
And that's a story hopefully we can tell Tuesday here on Wake Up. We can't.
I wonder what it could be.
We can't tell it now, but Tuesday here on Wake Up Mid-Missouri.
I do have a winner of the week we can talk about now.
Okay.
Nebraska now holds a world record in Lincoln, Nebraska for the most attended women's sporting event. And it was for the volleyball team. They did a special game where they played the Omaha, Nebraska team inside the football stadium, so like an outdoor game on a indoor volleyball court, which is kind of interesting. And they had just over 92,000 Nebraska fans show up for this game, and that beats the world record that was previously held by a soccer game in Spain. That's how big this is.
That's huge.
Marsh,
really is.
Winners, losers?
Well, we'll stay with the world of sports. Got a loser and a winner. And our loser is all-pro defensive tackle Chris Jones, who's still a holdout, and we could have sure used him last night when the Chiefs dropped their home opener to Detroit. Winner from the world of sports, Oregon's Puddles the Duck mascot. When Portland State played Oregon State and the Ducks hung 81 points on them, Puddles had to do 546 push-ups.
Wow.
Poor Puddles.
Wow.
Chiefs, speaking of things getting dropped, Chiefs wide receiver Kadarius Toney last night. Man.
And it's stick them for the gloves next time.
And I saw the last one, I think it was late in the fourth quarter. He dropped, seriously, a pass that the guy of his skill and his ability should have caught. And it's like the overwhelming emotions, like, God, I hurt for this guy, man. I wouldn't even mad or anything.
I agree with that, and people on Twitter really taking shots at him, but he was an amazing. Mizzou football fans might remember he played here at Faurot Field one year. He was a Florida Gator from Mobile, Alabama. Florida got him out of Alabama. Phenomenal guy. I've never seen him drop like that, but something was not right.
Sometimes, no matter what your job is, and that is that's Kadarius Toney's job.
It is.
We've all had bad days at work.
Correct.
Some of us, there's at least 5 of us I know that are experiencing a bad day right now.
Yeah.
But we've all had a bad day at work, right? Where
he's probably kicking himself harder than anybody else.
And when you're a high performer, and again, I think back to the people that we surround ourselves with, whether it's Marsh, Halsworth, Stephanie Bell, producer Hannah, and myself. We are all our own toughest critics. When we make a mistake or we can't talk or we get something wrong or whatever, you don't need to say anything to me.
Yep.
I know. And nobody is beating myself, whatever the gooder English on that is.
Myself.
Thank you. Nobody's harder on myself than I am. All right, coming up in a few minutes from now, leftovers, some more. We're going to be featuring some more winners and losers, and Angela Nale from Central Bank is going to be joining us, talking about the big
Enjoy.
Forgot to mention this on the show this morning, and I've been knowing Cherie Tolson Reich for 8 years. I've been here exactly 8 years here on this show. September 13th, actually. I remember they wanted me to start. It was Friday, September the 11th. And they said, can you come in and start on Friday, September the 11th? That'll be your first day. Get a little acclimated. You can hit the floor running on Monday. And I said, I'm not going to have my first show be on the anniversary of that.
9/11.
Yeah, so it's been 8 years. Anyhow, I've been knowing Cherie Tolson Reich for 8 years. Just learned this about one of our local state reps this morning. A speed reader. How'd you learn how to do? Was that like one of those Evelyn Woods courses or something?
Yeah, sort of. I took a speed reading class back when I was city clerk in Hallsville, gosh, probably 20, 25 years ago. But in high school, I was the fastest typist. I can type 100 words a minute with no mistakes. And I'm such a busy person, I read everything very quickly. So you gave me this whole book of homework papers this morning. And after like 2 minutes, I said, okay, I've read it, Branden. And he's like, what? I'm a speed reader.
Pretty cool.
And a speed talker. I'm a woman. I talk fast.
John, does she read faster or talk faster? Which one? Don't answer that.
I'm not going there.
I love to talk.
Let's welcome into the show now. I want to bring in a good friend of ours, Angela Nale. She does a lot in mid-Missouri, specifically in Jefferson City. She is with Central Bank. I imagine, Angela, you going to be at the big thing, the big chamber event tonight with me and John?
Well, unfortunately, I am double booked. I have a tailgate tonight.
That's right. Good answer. I was trying to trip you up. What are you guys doing tonight, Angela?
Well, tonight we are tailgating at California High School for the Pintos at Riley Stadium.
PIN.
And they're winning this year. So we are so excited to be there.
Well, good. And so if folks are saying, hey, we're going to go to this game, do the tailgate, Central Bank is going to be there, Angela Nale is going to be there. What can folks expect when they come by and say hello?
Well, gates open at 5 p.m., and that includes, with paid admission, a quarter-pound hot dog from Hy-Vee, chips, Coke products, and some amazing T-shirts, of course, that we design different every year while supplies last.
I am so excited about the T-shirts. They are really cool.
Now, wait, Angela, my district includes Ashland, so you're playing Southern Boone, so I'm saying go Eagles. Yay, Eagles.
It's my Pintos against Stephanie Bell's Southern Boone Eagles.
That's right.
So
I'm on Stephanie's team tonight.
We'll see who comes out on top.
Is there going to be a wager on this game anywhere?
I'm too broke for that.
Sports betting
is not me. I don't bet.
It's illegal in Missouri.
I don't gamble.
Can't do that.
And I don't care, except one of the members of Wake Up Mid-Missouri, Stephanie Bell. She's a rule follower and happens to deal with gambling law.
Those dang attorneys.
This is just the first of a whole bunch of high school tailgates this year, right, Angela?
It is. This is kicking off the season. And did you know that we've been tailgating since 2007?
Wow.
And you've been a part of it with us the whole time.
I think we have.
So it's been a lot of fun over there. That's a lot of hot dogs and a lot of T-shirts.
In a brand new Capital City High School in Jefferson City Stadium to tailgate at.
I am so excited. We went over there. We kind of mapped out where we're going to set up. The stadium is beautiful. Obviously, there's still some things that need to be done, but it is absolutely gorgeous, and we can't wait to have our first tailgate there.
All right. We're excited about that. Sorry that we're going to miss you at the big chamber event, but I think last year, what an honor it was to see you be honored for all the work that you do in the community in Jefferson City. Angela, we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. That was an amazing, honor, and for the Knots to think of me to receive that it was very tearful for me.
I know, I remember, but it was tears
in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. But I think it's cool because people like you and people like anybody who, like Cherie Tolson Reich, even our guest co-host this morning, the stuff she does outside of her responsibilities as a local state representative. We do these things because we're just interested in making where we live. We just want to make it someplace better. And before we know it, the years go by. And I think we don't look back and go, man, look at everything I've done for this community. That's not in the nature of people like Angela Nale. And then when you have other folks that have been honored in the past for their work in a community, and they're like, hey, Angela, man, you've been doing this is crazy. I think it was really cool. And I know you're humble and all that. Angela, we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
It sounds great. See you then.
All right, Angela Nale, Central Bank, California, in Southern Boone.
Southern Boone.
What are you thinking, Hannah? California win or an Ashland win?
What am I thinking, or what do I want?
What do you hope? Two different answers.
I don't know what kind of matchup it is. I'm not following that too closely.
Well, I mean, I haven't followed Southern Boone football this year, and it's only week 3, so I don't know if the stereotypes align just yet. But Southern Boone's always a tough team, so we'll see.
And if you are going to be at this event tonight in Jefferson City for the Big Chamber Gala, where they're going to be honoring other folks that pitch in to help out their community, John Marsh and we are going to be there. So if you see the dude with a real killer mop of hair on his head and a nice mustache, that would be Marsh. With him, you'll probably see a short, little, chubby, balding dude.
With flip-flops.
With
Yay,
flip-flops. That would be me.
You're no longer chubby.
I'm not.
You're not, Brandon.
Thank you for noticing, John. I appreciate that. I didn't think you.
But you do have the flip-flops.